What's up, App Nation? Welcome into another edition of Coaches Getting Coffee. I'm Matt Present. We're here on Blowing Rock Road at Vicious Biscuit, right around the corner from campus, and we're pleased to be joined today by Chan Metz, the head coach of the App State women's golf team. Coach, welcome into Coaches Getting Coffee. How are you?
Yeah, great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about these last few months for you. You were hired mid-August, about a week before your team's first event. What was that stretch like, just getting thrown right into the fire and trying to figure out how to build a lineup?
You hit the ground running. I think for me, the biggest focus was trying to learn the kids. I think new players, they've got a brand new coach to learn. I've got 6 new players to learn, so I think that's a good thing to be able to kind of focus on for the first stretch of the season. And it's a steep learning curve, and we had a lot of conversations about, what that was going to look like. Each tournament was probably going to feel a little bit different, hopefully a little bit more comfortable. And we got through that. Very, very happy with kind of where we are. But yeah, that was the biggest focus. Once we kind of got through the season and got to the off season, then it was time to really kind of dig into, all the different things that the school offers, and there's so many great resources and things here. And so I've really enjoyed kind of digging into that stuff in the off season.
Let's go back to the hiring process. What was it that attracted you to Boone and to App State?
So obviously, very familiar with Sunbelt. I've been in the Sunbelt before. The App State logo means a lot in this area, means a lot in this region. I think being able to be at a school where, yes, the logo means something, everybody knows who App State is, where App State is, just having a community that fully supports what we're doing and what we're trying to accomplish is a huge difference maker, because that's not the case everywhere, but it is definitely the case here. My wife and I have always loved the mountains, and so I think I would say literally from the first time that we got to the top of the mountain, we had not even really kind of started the interview process. We kind of knew that, like, wow, if we have a chance to come here, this is going to be an easy decision.
Going back in your life, growing up, when was it that you got into golf? What was that experience like, kind of finding that passion?
I think I really just kind of grew up around sports. Have a dad who's was a high school football coach, and grew up on the sideline. I honestly can't even really tell you the first time I played golf, but he's the one that definitely got me into it. It was just always kind of the thing where I would tag along on the weekends and maybe hit a couple of shots and just watch him. And then as I kind of grew into the sport, it kind of turned into a thing of that's where I spent my summers. And that really probably happened more around the middle school age. And then, once we kind of were middle school, high school, it was always that balance of spending the right amount of time on football, spending the right amount of time on golf, and then eventually finally realized that, you're not going to be playing football on the next level, and golf's going to give me the best opportunity for that. So that's when we started really focusing on that.
Well, that segues well into your college career. You walked on originally, earned a scholarship. How has that experience informed the way you coach your student athletes?
Yeah, I think, whether we're talking about golf or football or any sport that I've played, I've never been the best athlete on the field. Like, that's just a fact. I've always been jealous of the more, I guess, pure athletes, if that's what you want to call them. So for me, it's always been a thing where I have to outwork everybody. I've got to put extra work in. I've got to be the one staying after practice. That's going to be the only way that I'm going to have a chance to compete. And I think that's truly what allowed me the opportunity to play college golf. And I think that's really kind of how my coaching career started. I'm originally from Georgia, and we had to move halfway across the country to get our foot in the door. But it was really kind of by any means necessary. This was a dream that we were chasing, and I wasn't going to be scared of hard work. I wasn't going to be scared of starting out on the bottom rung of the ladder, and just kind of doing what we got to do to earn our keep.
What is recruiting like? I know that's an area across the board in college sports that's changing rapidly right now. How do you approach recruiting, and in a sport where the score is the score so much, how do you find gals that might differentiate themselves?
Yeah, I mean, to your point, I think, numbers do speak for themselves. 72 is going to beat 73 every single day of the week. So I think it's really important to really try to understand the person that you're getting. golf is a really, really wonderful sport at revealing character. You really only have to watch a player play long enough to watch them struggle through a round to really kind of understand who you're getting as a person. So I kind of enjoy that process of recruiting and truly watching them long enough to, because their numbers are going to show me what their best golf is capable of. I want to watch them struggle through a round. If I can watch them do that, I know what kind of player, I know what kind of person I'm going to get, and kind of easily see how they handle adversity and those sort of things. And for me, that's the focus, making sure that we're bringing in the right players that are going to represent our golf program, our athletic department, and represent the AOL.
I'm always fascinated by the dynamic on a golf team because it's an individual sport. You go out there, you shoot your score, you're playing to have the best round you can, but there's also the team dynamic. How do you coach that culture of your best golf is your best golf, but you also need to be helping the team as a whole?
Yeah, I mean, I truly feel that answer, even though, you talk about the differences in individual and team sports. I think the answer is the same regardless of sport. I think it starts with trust, right? Like, we got to build that player-coach relationship the right way. We got to have the right foundation, because at some point, inevitably, in every player's career, and it happened in mine when I was playing, a coach is going to have to tell you something that you don't want to hear. They're going to have to look you in the face and tell you the truth. And I think when you have that relationship in the right place, you can have those tough conversations a lot easier. And so I think that it starts with kind of building that trust. And then from there, the other side of it, which for me is another thing that I really love about coaching golf. So this year we've got 6 different players. So the answer for what puts each one of those players in the best position to play the best golf is 6 completely different answers, right? So it's just like a fingerprint. And so I enjoy trying to dig into that process and truly find out, okay, what's going to help player A and B and C, and know that that's probably going to be 3 different answers. But trying to figure that out is kind of like putting a puzzle together, and I really enjoy that process.
Well, and doing so has to be different depending on what course you're playing. So as other coaches might be watching film of opponents, how are you breaking down and scouting different courses that you guys have upcoming on your schedule?
Sure, I think there's always going to be the obvious things like, are we going to a long golf course where we're just going to be bombing it off the tee? Are we playing, maybe a shorter but narrow golf course where there's going to be a lot of trouble? Like maybe there's a lot of penalty areas with tee shots. Is it a first shot or a second shot course? What do the green complexes offer? Maybe what type of grass are we playing on? And I think we can do certain things with, we have so many resources here with access to awesome golf courses. And so I think sometimes we will try to, where we're going to qualify or practice or how we build practice, we'll maybe try to skew it in the direction of maybe the kind of course that we're going to play. But once we get to the golf course, for me personally, I'm a less is more coach when it comes to that stuff. I think that it's very easy to overthink golf courses from time to time. I think that by and large, most players do that. And so it's always target, swing, we're trying to put the golf ball here. And we're trying to simplify that process as much as we can. And so for me, yeah, when I say less is more, that's what I mean. It's how can we simplify this down to just golf swing, we're trying to get it from A to B. And that's it. And we got to block out all the other noise. We got to block out all the, maybe the trouble, or maybe certain golf courses give you something visually, and we got to figure out how to block all those things out and just see the golf shot for what it is and what we're trying to do with it.
Lastly, for so many weekend golfers or the average Joe, golf is that escape. Golf is that hobby to get away. Is that the case for you, or is it something else that gets you away from golf?
I enjoy competing. I'm probably not the player that's just going to go play around for fun on the weekends. I enjoy posting a score. I like the stress of competition and having to stand over 4-footers that means something is how I always say it. But I think for me, I'm an outdoorsman. I like to hunt. I like to fish. Those are probably my escapes. Still enjoy watching football and following that. I think that's a pretty good way for me to check out. I don't get a lot of Saturdays to do that because we're traveling a lot during the fall, during football season. But yeah, I think for me, I'm more of a student of the game, trying to figure out how I can make my players better. I spend more time worrying and thinking about those things than I do my own game.
Fair enough. Coach, it's been awesome to get to know you this morning. Appreciate you joining us here on Coaches Getting Coffee.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
He's Chan Metz. I'm Matt President. This has been Coaches Getting Coffee here at Vicious Biscuit. We're right around the corner from campus on Blowing Rock Road. Great biscuits, great other breakfast options. You can check them out all day long and order online at viciousbiscuit.com. We will see you next time on Coaches Getting Coffee.